My name is Brandon Tidd. I am with 729 Solutions, here to talk to you today about how to get started with AI agents in Zendesk. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about what 729 Solutions is. We help connect the dots for infinite possibilities. We're a full service dev shop that is also a premier Zendesk partner. We help our clients with strategy, software development, design, professional services, and DevOps. And our mission is to take care of each other so we can take care of our clients and keep everyone happy. So who am I? I am a certified Zendesk professional services consultant, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. That is me, as you can see. I live here with 2 kids, 3 pets, 1 wife, and no hair. So happy to have all of you here. We've got an action-packed house. And I see the number is continuing to grow. If you are just joining us, the chat feature is not working currently, but we are taking chats in the Q&A section as well. So what are we going to talk about today? Today's journey, we're going to talk about setting up your AI agent inside of Zendesk. So let me just take a quick step back. If you don't have Zendesk, if you've gotten this by way of another resource and you're not sure what Zendesk is a customer service platform that scales to meet the needs of any business. So if you've ever been in the backseat of an Uber or communicated with Disney, chances are you've been an end user of Zendesk services and you don't even know it. For those of you who are Zendesk customers, what we're talking about today specifically is AI in the messaging widget. And so we're going to talk a lot about that over the course of this conversation today. Everything from setting up your AI agent to deploying an AI-powered bot, monitoring and optimizing performance, and then some advanced customizations and use cases, as well as leaving time at the end for Q&A. And as we see that number continue to skyrocket in participants, please feel free to leave those questions in the chat or in the Q&A section on the webinar. We'll try to get to those, as many of those as possible. And for those of you who are wondering, who may have heard a detail about the $30 Uber Eats gift card for attending this and completing the survey, that survey is going to be available at the end of our time today. So when you exit the webinar, when the webinar is over, you're going to receive a survey link immediately pop up. And if you fill that out, the first 100 completions will receive that $30 Uber Eats gift card. And thanks to Zendesk for sponsoring that as well. So transforming customer support with Zendesk AI agents. What are Zendesk AI agents? Zendesk AI agents are pre-trained to understand and respond to customer inquiries. So think of this as tier 0 support. These are the frontline defense that keep your agents free to answer other questions that are of higher value and of more consequence to your business. So they can handle a large volume of support tickets 24/7 by 365. One of the things I like about AI is it doesn't get tired, it doesn't get distracted, it doesn't get bored. It is just there, ready and willing to talk to your customers at any point in their journey, meeting your customers when they are. So your third shift workers that don't traditionally get a chance to interact with your human in the loop agents, they are able to have a legendary customer experience at 3 o'clock in the morning when it is suiting to them. AI agents also free up your human agents to focus on complex issues and higher value tasks. And my favorite part of this is implementing Zendesk AI is quick and easy. So the first thing we need to do, though, is lay that foundation for the AI agents to have something to talk about. And that starts with organizing and optimizing your help center content. So if you're using Zendesk, you have a guide that's known by many names. Some people call it guide, knowledge base, help center, FAQ section. But if you're using that tool inside of Zendesk, we're going to want to ensure the content is accurate and is complete. And when we write articles, when we recommend writing articles inside of Zendesk's help center, we suggest that you use terms that your customers are going to use, that you use language that your customers are going to use, that you title the questions so that they align with what questions your customers are going to be asking. So the more information you can give your bot about your business, the better the bot is going to be able to handle responding conversationally to those requests. So historically, this has looked a lot like ask and answer. You ask a question, the bot does the homework of trying to source the answer in the help center and surface the relevant article. What we have now is the ability for that bot to not only search and analyze that help center content, but now it's also given the ability using OpenAI and generative AI to be able to respond conversationally in a voice that matches your brand voice, whether it's friendly, professional, playful. You can choose the bot's persona to align with your brand voice. So we think a lot of times about customer interactions and customer support being relegated to your tier one support agents or your support division. This is really where your marketing team gets to come in and wax their muscle and start to look at the way folks are engaging with your bot and thinking about this as the new front door of your business. So for a number of years, the website was considered the front door of your business. And if you had a chat bot, it was great and you could staff it. If you had the resources to staff it, so much the better. Zendesk and tools like Zendesk AI agents give you the ability to level set and give everybody the same customer experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year without staffing yourselves to the point of breaking. And so with Zendesk and OpenAI, you're also setting default behavioral guardrails. How much is it allowed to use generative AI? Is it allowed to use emojis? What should it do if it comes across an unexpected response? What happens if somebody tries to jailbreak it or hallucinate? So these are all things that Zendesk has considered in setting up their AI agents and their AI tools. So they've been very strategic with setting it up to be grounded in sources of truth to reduce the chances that it's going to hallucinate. And if you're just joining us, we're going to be taking questions at the end due to the large volume of attendees. So I do see a number of hands going up on my other screen. We are going to leave plenty of time at the end for questions. But for right now, we're going to talk about how you deploy your AI bot. So first thing you need is Zendesk. If you don't have Zendesk, you can sign up for a free trial and you can contact us at 729 Solutions for more information about getting Zendesk set up for your business. Assuming that you've done that, you can enable the bot building experience inside of your admin center in Zendesk to allow for guided conversations towards resolutions. And that really comes down to understanding user behavior. And if you are inside of Zendesk, you're already thinking about customer service. But this part of the dialogue really speaks to any bot building experience, whether you're using Zendesk or not. You want to cater to 3 different types of primary user behavior. We have our flow followers or our choose your own adventure folks, the folks that like to point and click and read the script that you've laid out for them and the bot builder that you've outlined to say, I want to click this, I want to see my options, I want to select X, Y, or Z, and then I want to get my answer. So that is one type of persona that is inside of your customer ecosystem. Another type is the person who just wants to ask a direct question. They're going to ignore everything that you've written, all the waypoints and wayfinding information you've given them, and they're just going to ask their question, which is fine. The Zendesk AI agent is poised to answer either of those modalities. And then we have our third agent, our third end user rather, which is just the smash the keyboard until you get to a human representative. So they might type something like agent, customer service representative, shut up robot, whatever it is, they're finding a way to bypass all of the AI and get to that human in the loop. And so we want to provide off-ramps for all 3 of these scenarios. So we're offering a clear path to contact that human if it's an urgent situation, but also encouraging them to leverage the AI. And the AI now can offer a very personalized experience and a very next age or new age experience in terms of a next generation of bots. This isn't the chat bots of yesteryear where it feels very robotic, especially with the generative AI piece layered in. I'm grounded on the data that you give it, it's going to give your users a very human-like experience, a very good customer service interaction that is then going to translate to an agent experience that is frictionless if they do need to raise the issue to a human in the loop. And then adding the coding to the website, whether you're on mobile or on your website or in your help center, it's just a couple of lines of JavaScript code to grab that widget and put that bot on your website and allow them to start answering questions. So we talk about monitoring and optimizing performance of the chatbot. So once you've got a chatbot live, where are the options for improvement? So Zendesk is in the process of shifting to resolution-based pricing, which is going to help users maximize the return on their investment of Zendesk. They have more information on that. But in terms of the bot's actual performance, we can leverage reporting tools inside of Zendesk to give you insight to how to use them and how to improve the bot performance. So you can see what users were contained, what users were resolved by the bot, what questions weren't resolved by the bot and required to head over to a human interaction. All of that information is available in near real time in the Explore data set. And we encourage users as you're on this journey. A lot of folks get hyper fixated on where in the reporting they need to focus. And where we like to advise our clients is to study where humans have to step in. So we want to focus on the weak spots to improve AI performance. So if the AI is answering the question, that's a good experience. If the AI has to fail over to a human, maybe there's a legitimate reason. Maybe that user needed something that was out of the scope of services of the AI, or maybe they just didn't ask the right question, or they asked a question in a way that you weren't anticipating. So having the ability to focus on the areas where the AI has failed over to the human in the loop, the AI agent has tapped on the human on the shoulder and said, I need you on this one. Having that ability to understand and update the bot's responses based on that information is really where we see people accelerate their experience within using these tools. And then going back to the end user experience, with the bot building experience, we do have the ability to understand whether your agents, your humans in the loop, are online or not based on posted business hours. And we can set user expectation with persistent conversation inside of the AI messaging to say when they can expect a response. So maybe it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you failed over to a human and you know you have agents online. So your messaging to the end user would be, thanks for your information, we're going to get you right over to an agent. Versus 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe you're all offline. You can redirect the bot to say at that point, thanks for the information, our humans are currently sleeping. We need to get this over to a human in the morning, but when you come back to this chat experience in the morning, the answer will be waiting for you. You can continue to add additional content and ask additional questions. And when our humans are back in the loop, we will be back with you. And then we can also email you when your request is updated so that you don't have to be sitting on our website all night waiting for a response. So it's those type of experiences where we start with an end user and they ask a question, they try to self-serve, they fail into a human conversation, and that human conversation, we set the right expectations on when that human is going to get back to them. Even if you're not providing an immediate answer, that's good customer experience. And then you can do things with the Zendesk advanced API messaging or advanced AI messaging rather, to keep the humans out of the loop. So things like making API calls. So if you use FedEx or UPS as your shipping source, you want to have somebody say, hey, where's my package? You can do things like capture the information through the Zendesk AI bot and have that bot go out to FedEx's website, hit their API, and come back with a tracking response to say, this is where your package is. And so this is something that has historically been relegated to humans that is now giving the ability for the AI agent to answer that question in real time without ever leaving your website. And then Zendesk earlier this year acquired Ultimate AI, resulting in exciting possibilities on the horizon for everything from multiple knowledge bases to custom intent modeling, to tailoring AI to your unique needs. This is all coming soon via all the Ultimate AI acquisition. And so that is the content of the demonstration part of this. And now we're going to get into a little live demo. But before we do that, we want to talk about next steps and questions and answers. So we're going to activate messaging. If you haven't done so already, if you're a Zendesk customer, you've been thinking about pulling the trigger on AI and messaging and using these AI bots, open the door, unlock that door, and start with AI-powered conversations. So we're going to do the demo here in just a few minutes, but also to let you know that 729 Solutions can help. A free consultation is available to access your needs or to assess your needs. And then the Zendesk community. I got my start several years ago in the Zendesk community, and it allows you to tap into the collective wisdom of everybody that's gone before you. Don't learn from your mistakes, learn from somebody else's mistakes, and get out there and be positive and be experimental and be open to what the AI agents can do for you. So with that being said, we're going to drop into Q&A. I've got my contact information on the screen here, just in case you want to send us a message. But in the meantime, if you do have questions, we're going to go ahead and you ask them in the questions and answer session. We've got a number of open questions that came through while I was talking. So we're just going to take a moment to go through some of these questions and get a pulse check on where you guys are at with these AI agents, what your thoughts are, and then we're going to do a little bit of live demo for you. So I'm just going to take a minute. If you do have questions, drop them into the questions and answer section on the webinar. The survey for the $30 Uber Eats gift card will be available immediately at the end of this session. Once we end the webinar, you're going to get that pop-up survey available, and the first 100 participants will be able to claim that result. Thank you for hosting this. I'm just reading some of these notes about the surveys, and Mackenzie wants to know, how do Zendesk AI agents utilize sentiment analysis for ticket prioritization? Great question, Mackenzie. So with the advanced AI add-on inside of Zendesk, Zendesk is going to know once the humans are in the loop, once that ticket has failed over and that conversation has failed over to an agent. Zendesk Advanced AI gives you the ability to do sentiment detection, which will allow you to understand if the customer's interaction with the bot was positive, negative, if they're happy or sad or pissed off. And then you can use those intent signals via tags to take action through business rules on those tools. So whether it is on those tickets, so whether it is enhancing the experience through an increased prioritization or flagging the ticket over to a separate group that handles high priority tickets. It's once those tickets are created, that's when the sentiment analysis is going to kick in on Zendesk Advanced AI. As far as the AI agents utilizing sentiment, that is something that is on the roadmap for Ultimate AI. So it's something that I actually talked to Zendesk about at Relate when I was there back in April. And I talked to the Ultimate team, and they said that was something they were exploring in terms of next steps after Zendesk acquired Ultimate AI, and they're baking some of those tools into the product. So I love it. I think the more information that the AI can glean from the conversation, and it's really good right now at detecting sentiment in tickets that fail over. So I have no doubt that the AI agents would allow for a similar level of transparency and understanding in where the sentiment of the conversation is going, to allow for certain things like, hey, it looks like you're getting upset. Can we bring the human into the loop prematurely? Something like that, I think, is an inevitable conclusion of where we're going in the space. So in what ways do Zendesk AI agents use keywords to offer relevant knowledge-based articles or service catalog items? Great question. So inside of Zendesk's AI, we are seeing when the bot is interacting with users, you've got intents, answers, and then articles. So intents are what the user types in. And once the user types in a question or a statement, that information is brought into the AI, and the AI is going to do one of three things with that information. It's going to either offer an answer path, which we can take a look at on the back half of this call, or it's going to offer a solution, an article, and it's going to summarize an article. Or it's going to say, I don't know what the heck you just said. Try again and speak and say your question differently. And you can control what that tone is, whether it is something as, I'm sorry, I don't understand that request, or it's, try again and use real words this time. Wherever you are on that spectrum of persona, it gives you the ability to craft those messages to say, I don't know what you're talking about. But assuming it does know what you're talking about, the question comes back to utilizing those keywords and the information that the end user has given you to try to figure out, is this going to match one of my answers? Am I going to send this user down a path where I need more information, where I need to present them with some options, or maybe an API, an opportunity to collect information like a tracking number? I'm going to go down that path. Versus an article match where we look at, is this going to be something that is answered by an article? The title of the article carries the most weight. Beyond that, it does look at the body of the content of the article to try to find matches, but the title of the article, looking at keyword matching from whatever the user typed in to whatever the title typed in, that's what's going to be most prevalent to you. And then we're going to see an answer to that question that comes in if it's more than one. If you have, it could be an answer, or it could be an article, the bot can ask clarifying questions. It could be one of these three things. Can you give me more information? And then once it gets more information, then it can double down and say, oh, okay, I want to send you down this path versus I want to offer you this article. So hopefully that answers that question, and feel free to chat in and let me know if if this is answering these questions for you. So in what ways do Zendesk AI agents use keywords? That's the one we just answered. So how do Zendesk AI agents use virtual agents to engage with users in real time? So what we have here is an AI agent that sits in the background and waits for that user to go onto the page. Once the user lands on your website, you can use a proactive message to pop up and say, hey, do you need some help? Or, hey, we're having a sale, click here for details. And then once that user engages with the chatbot is always there ready to work. And the chatbot can handle multiple conversations at the same time. And it allows the user to have a real-time conversation with your knowledge, with your information that's in your knowledge base. So instead of having to go hunt for it, it can just go look at it and do all the heavy lifting for you. It's kind of like having that receptionist at the front desk that is all knowledgeable about what information is in the store, what aisle the information is located on, and whether or not you need to bring in a manager for a price check or something like that. So they're always available. They're always ready to go. Do Zendesk AI agents assist with tracking and managing IT assets? Great question. So yes and no. So when we work with asset management, we're most likely working with another partner like Easy Office or Asset Sonar, where that asset is being stored. You could also use Sunshine Custom Objects, but that's a conversation for another webinar. So when it comes to those assets being managed by the conversation, you can absolutely use one of those more advanced API calls by putting in an asset ID or some more information that's relevant to your asset tracking system to send a query through the API to your asset management system and bounce back a response. To the extent that you can do that depends on what asset management system you're using and what your expectations are around the conversation. If you'd like more information on that, Amanda, feel free to drop me an email. I would love to chat with you more about your use case there. How do Zendesk AI agents improve customer service response times? Linda, I love this question. Thank you so much for asking it. So when it comes to the customer service response times, we are helping on twofold with the deployment of AI agents. First of all, we're deflecting and reducing the number of interactions that your human agents have to have with customers, thus freeing them up for faster response times. But then the immediate response that the bot offers is very palpable to the end user. It gives the end user a very good user experience to be able to ask and answer that question if they can get it immediately. And if they can't, and they do need to bring that human into the loop, and it is escalated to a human agent, the advantage there is that that agent now has the entire context of the conversation that that user had with the AI. They know what the intent is. If you're using advanced AI, they also know what the sentiment is, what the language is. You can prioritize that request based on that information. And that provides the agent with a faster response time. And again, if you're using the Zendesk advanced AI features, Zendesk is going to look at how you're responding to that request, give you the ability to enhance that writing or tone shift that writing. It's even going to go so far as to draft or suggest macros that it sees your agents are typing a lot of, and suggest putting that in a macro so that they can, or a templatized response, canned response, so that they can put that out there that much faster. Can Zendesk AI agents handle multi-channel support requests? So right now, the Zendesk AI is exclusively on the messaging channel. There are some elements of the AI being brought into email. So if you ask an answer via email or fill out a form, that is coming very, very soon. And then we're also in beta or EAP, early access program, for Zendesk Voice, being able to transcribe live conversations using generative AI. So in that sense, it is, but in the sense of what we're talking about today, we're really talking about the AI agents inside of the messaging tool. So same question. How do, I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Malan. How do Zendesk AI agents ensure accurate and relevant automated responses? Another great question. So Zendesk has put the guardrails up more than any other company that I know in terms of making sure that the AI is grounded, that it only uses the information that you give it access to. And so in that case, it's information that's generated from your help center. It's content that exists in your help center. And you put up the guardrails that if the AI agent doesn't understand the question, or if it even thinks that it might be going down a path that it might not be providing an accurate answer, there are safeguards in place to ensure that it says, I can't answer that question. Let me get you over to a human that can. Or feel free to ask your question in another way. So there are a lot of safety measures in making sure that the AI agents are only offering answers that you've provided or offering answers that are in alignment with the content that you have available. One of my favorite things to do with our chatbots in our sandbox environment is try to break them. So we ask it all sorts of silly things, just trying to get it to elicit a response that is not on brand. And to my best efforts, I have not been able to break the Zendesk bot. I'm sure at some point somebody will, but for the average user that's asking a brand appropriate question, they've really dialed up the safety measures as best as they can to ensure that the answers to the questions that are being asked are relevant and on brand. Jessica wants to know, what role do Zendesk AI agents play in reducing customer service workload for human agents? And again, this is twofold. One, it is deflecting a lot of that. How do I reset my password? What time are you open? Are you open on the 4th of July? Anything that can be easily answered with data that is readily accessible in your help center, the AI bot is going to do a great job of deflecting that. From there, if the AI bot can't deflect it, it's going to offer context that's critical to gathering information for that human in the loop, that when they come up and look at the ticket, they're going to be able to see who's contacting them, why they're contacting them, what history they've had in conversations with the bot, to allow them to really engage in those conversations faster, and then prioritize and redirect the ones, even programmatically sometimes, based on if this is about a certain topic, we can send it to that department or that team programmatically to get the answer to that person, to that end user, even faster. So how do Zendesk AI agents integrate with existing CRM and support tools? So Joseph, I don't have you live here to get clarity on this question, but I'll try my best to answer it. So obviously Zendesk engages with Zendesk as a platform pretty seamlessly through the API. If your CRM tool or support tool of choice has an API, the AI agent can talk to it most likely through the API. So if you've got a order management system or a Shopify store, your AI agent can hit that API and pull order information or pull more information about whatever it is that you're trying to gather. It can also share login credentials. That the widget itself can also authenticate through JWT or another SSO platform that allows you to gather information from a third party about the user that's asking the question, and then leverage that knowledge in the conversation. So if you've got a VIP whitelist that you have certain users that are in your database that are tagged, when they log in, we could flag their escalated tickets as VIP tickets so that they get proper treatment and put through fast. Can we get a copy of this, Glenn? Yes, we've recorded this conversation and we're going to try to figure out how to get a copy over to anybody who missed the presentation. So can we embed Zendesk onto any SaaS application, or is it designed to work with a regular website? For example, I would like to see if it could be embedded into Salesforce applications. So regular website, yes. Certain applications and SaaS platforms, if they allow for JavaScript and editing of the code, yes. Inside of Salesforce, you're going to have much more difficult time because it is considered a walled garden. Their competitors and Salesforce would want you using their own tools in-house versus bringing Zendesk's tools into their walled garden. That being said, if you are using another provider's help center and that help center has code that you can access, you could theoretically put your Zendesk widget on that portal as well as any other website. So I know the Zendesk guide uses standard HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So you're able to bring code from Ada or other third-party providers of chatbots onto Zendesk website. It would just depend on what platform you're using. If you are using Salesforce as your CRM, it might be something better to have the conversation outside of the CRM, and then once the ticket is created, use the inbuilt integration to pass data back and forth between Zendesk and Salesforce. Where can you find the survey? The survey will be at the end of this conversation. How does Zendesk protect my data and my customers' data and their privacy? Great question, and a paramount question in the age of or era of AI, as we call it. Zendesk does have a very robust privacy policy around data security. Again, Disney and Uber used Zendesk. So if it's good enough for the House of Mouse, I say it's good enough for the clients that we consult with. But then beyond that, there are also advanced data and privacy protections afforded through add-ons. There's HIPAA privacy available through add-ons. Zendesk takes data security very seriously, and there is a privacy policy that's publicly posted. If you just Google search for Zendesk privacy policy, you'll be able to find more information about that. KB is a great question. So KB is just your help center. It's a knowledge base or a help center, an FAQ page, a support center portal. It goes by many names, but essentially where you're housing your frequently asked questions. And I would strongly encourage you, if you just have a static FAQ page, that you consider upgrading and linking that over to a purpose-built knowledge center that allows users to search that knowledge more effectively. How have I eliminated hallucinations? So hallucinations are less of a problem inside of this ecosystem than, say, a ChatGPT, because the AI has been trained on customer service and it is grounded to the data that you're providing it. So it is encouraged to default to I don't know versus taking an educated guess. So for example, if I ask my AI bot what the forecast is for tomorrow, it's going to say, I have no idea. I'm here to help you about this business. Can you ask your question a different way? Or maybe I can get you over to a human that can help. So really, by defaulting it to an answer that is, if I don't know, I'm not going to guess, they've reduced the friction on hallucinations, and it also indicates that it's powered by generative AI when it is using generative AI to help be transparent about when we're using technology to help support an answer. Hopefully that answers that question. How customizable are Zendesk AI agents? They are very customizable in the sense that you can control the output of what it says how it responds to questions. So when you have a question that comes in, you get to decide, do I want to provide a full-blown answer to this? Do I want to suggest an article here? Or do I want to get this over to a human? You can also control the bot's persona, whether it's formal, friendly, or professional, or playful rather. And you can put those guardrails on. The only thing you can't really control is what words that it's going to generate, because it's relying on OpenAI and generative AI. So is Zendesk AI like ChatGPT? Great question. It is similar in the sense that it is leveraging the same technology. So ChatGPT is powered by OpenAI. Zendesk is powered by OpenAI. So the same technology that is used to respond to you when you're talking with ChatGPT is the same knowledge that you're tapping into when you are talking to Zendesk bot. The only difference is the Zendesk bot has a lot more guardrails on it. ChatGPT has a lot of guardrails on it, but Zendesk AI has a lot more guardrails on it because we're dealing with your business and we don't want to be doing things like giving away free cars. So Zendesk specifically trained its AI model on top of OpenAI to be much more restrictive and business enterprise friendly. I'm getting through as many questions as we can. They are coming through fast here. We'll continue to get through as many as we can. If you do have questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. And if we do run out of time, we'll find a way to answer all of the questions asynchronously for you. So we really do appreciate you jumping on this webinar. Would there be any difficulties into using Zendesk, such as impurities or mistakes the AI can make? I think we've talked about that in the sense of hallucinations. Zendesk really tries hard to put the guardrails up, and I would say that your humans are not also infallible. So just as the self-driving cars might crash, the amount of self-driving cars, the amount of safety that come with riding in a self-driving car tends to outweigh the risks of being in a autonomous vehicle. Similarly, the amount of time, energy, and effort that the AI agents save you, to me, is well worth the minuscule risk that something can go wrong. But again, with the transparency of saying that this is generative AI response, with the guardrails that they've put in place, they've really done everything that they can do from a business perspective to mitigate those things from happening. Governance restrictions placed on the bot that it doesn't go off track. So what we were just talking about, is it strictly a chatbot, or can the AI do ticket triage when a ticket is created? Great question, Chuck. So generative AI agents inside of the chatbot are all about deflecting that conversation. So what comes with Zendesk out of the box with the suite is the ability to stand up one of those AI assistants and allows you to deflect as much as possible using the self-service model and using generative AI inside of those bots. Once the ticket is created and the human is brought into the conversation, the human in the loop, Zendesk Advanced AI, which is an add-on, does have the ability to do intent tracking, sentiment tracking, language detection, and a host of other things that you can then use AI to prioritize and route those tickets accordingly. Thank you so much for the kind words. The survey, and Nathaniel, the survey will be sent out as soon as this webinar ends. It'll pop up on the screen. So we are about 18 minutes away from the end of this webinar. So if you've made it this far, don't go away, because we definitely have the chance to get a $30 Uber Eats gift card popping up on your screen as soon as we end this call today. Again, that is limited to the first 100 participants. So fastest fingers wins. We have almost 1,000 people in this conversation right now. I didn't use my company email to register for Zoom. It shouldn't matter if you use your company email or not. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it is restricted to company emails. So I would say if you have a chance to try to re-register for the webinar and drop out and come back in, we'd be happy to get you that information. Is the AI supposed to know if the humans are offline? Yes. So one of the benefits of Zendesk AI is in the decision tree, we have the ability to say business hours online or offline. And so what we have the ability to do is detect when you think a human is supposed to be there. Now, with Ultimate AI coming in and time shift being acquired and translated into workforce management, there are some other things that we're hearing rumblings about in terms of being able to utilize unified agent status and omnichannel routing to to be more detective in terms of whether an agent is actually available or not. But we're not there yet. As of right now, we just know business hours. Yes, we expect an agent to be online, or no, we don't expect an agent to be online. The webinar is not over. We are in the question and answer session. The survey will be at the end of the call. Can the Zendesk AI be integrated into companies worldwide at the moment? Yes, as far as I know, there aren't any restrictions, but check with your Zendesk rep for more information about where we have the ability. I know it speaks several languages. So when the chatbot needs help, it can create a case when no agents are available. Yes, so when the Zendesk AI fails over to humans, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, the Zendesk AI can detect that nobody's in the office because you're outside of your normal business hours. So it gives you the ability to leave your name, your email, any additional information that you want to collect, or any additional information the end user wants to share. And then it would just create a ticket in queue for that agent to get in the morning when they come back into the office. And when that agent responds, not only is it going to update inside the widget, but it'll also send the user an email to let them know that their response has been responded to, or their request has been responded to. Yes, Juan, it is scheduled for an hour. We wanted to leave lots of times for questions and answers. So the presentation portion of this was about 20 minutes, and then we're leaving the back half of this open for questions and answers because we have a lot of questions. How will Zendesk AI be able to know when their human workers are asleep? It is a setting that you can say, right now it is a setting inside of the decision tree of whether or not the humans are in the loop or out of the loop. In downstream, we may see other things, other intents, like whether the agents are online or not. We may see more cross-pollination of those other services like workforce management and ultimate AI being brought into the conversation to have more intelligent conversations about agent availability. But again, the goal of Zendesk AI is to deflect and capture and contain as much of that as possible and give the user their answer right away instead of having to wait for that human in the loop to become available. Can customers tell if they're talking to AI or a human? Generally, yes. First of all, we're being fully transparent of saying this response was created using generative AI. We also encourage users and agents to be upfront, or admins rather, to be upfront with what they're talking about in terms of whether or not it's a bot, not trying to get the bot to pretend to be a human. And generally speaking, the responses are too fast and too succinct for a human to be able to type. So most people expect that if they're going to be engaging with something in real time, that it's not a human, but we also want to give them that clarity of, at some point, if you need to talk to a human, you can. How are Zendesk current agents going to familiarize themselves with generative AI? I read somewhere that most are uncomfortable with the generative AI integration. Yeah, so it's new. And anytime there's new, there's change management. But for our clients that we've onboarded with the advanced AI modules that allows them to expand, tone shift, or generally, my dog says hi, generally upgrade, I was wondering how long he was going to take to notice somebody outside. But what I would say is that, generally speaking, the more familiarity we get with AI, I mean, half of the country hasn't even heard of ChatGPT yet, so we're way early. Zendesk is literally on the bleeding edge of some of this stuff. So giving the ability for Zendesk agents to become more familiar with these tools over time, I think they're going to start to become more comfortable with them. Similarly to Grammarly or spell check has just been so sufficiently integrated with all of our tools that it's just going to become an exception to the rule that if you don't use AI versus if you're using AI in some capacity, especially as Microsoft and Google continue to invest heavily in bringing these applications into Google Docs or Microsoft Office products, you're going to see this normalize real quick. Good question. Surveys coming at the end. How would you handle multi-language and support a localization of the AI bot to ensure accurate and culturally sensitive responses across different regions? That's a really good question, and one that Zendesk is continuing to evolve and tackle. Zendesk has 170,000 customers around the world, so they've got a lot of data on how people speak customer service in different regions with different dialects. And I'm sure that as they continue to evolve the product, they will do so with poise and make sure that they test it sufficiently before they release things to the general public. Questions are still coming in. Well, what to do when there are some places in optimization where I'm a bit confused as to how to set some things? Flanders, email address right there on the screen. Contact me. Love to talk to you more about that use case. What kind of customer support is available for Zendesk AI users? So if you're in the process of setting up an AI bot, there is a wealth of information on the community support portal, support.zendesk.com, and then the community link. You can ask questions of the community. They also have advocates that can answer questions about your specific situation inside of your instance. You can click get help and ask to talk to you're actually going to talk to a bot first that it'll try to self-serve. So they eat their own ice cream. They leverage Zendesk technology to answer your questions. But if you do need to fail over, they do have humans in the loop that are available to respond to questions as well. And then there's also companies like 729 Solutions that allow you to have really that personalized guidance and coaching on your journey into the world of AI. Are there any weaknesses of Zendesk AI? Is anything currently being worked on to look forward to? Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges that we see is that custom intent modeling. Right now, they are still continuing to build that out. It's only available for certain industries. However, with the acquisition of Ultimate AI, we see an acceleration on that front, and we're really excited to see where they're bringing that product. The other thing that we run across a lot is seeing customers that want to be able to have more than one conversation simultaneously. It's something that you can currently do inside of the Zendesk bot experience, but not as a customer for your customers to be able to face them. That is something that is on the roadmap for later this year, though. Always something to look forward to. And I would say stay up to the latest with the details on what's going on with Zendesk. Follow them on the socials and make sure you're following up with all the quarterly releases that Zendesk has to make sure you stay on top of things. How do you start making use of the AI bot? Do all the things I said in the webinar. If you have specific questions, please feel free to reach out. My email address is on the screen. Does Zendesk AI provide answers to health-related questions? Great question. So your Zendesk bot is going to provide answers to questions based on the content in your help center. So if you are a healthcare provider and you have content that is in your help center that is aligned to answer those questions, the bot will summarize and provide information based on what you have in your help center. Outside of that, Zendesk is going to be very weary about trying to answer anything outside of that topic, regardless of whether it's health or not, but especially in health. But I would refer you to the HIPAA and advanced data protection programs that Zendesk offers to make sure that whatever your bot is generating, that it is HIPAA compliant, and giving people off-roads if they start asking about PII and other information inside of your conversations. Can we integrate the bots with ServiceNow? Same thing as before with Zendesk. If you have a service portal that is accessible, you have the access to the code, you could drop the JavaScript on there. I would encourage you to have that single ecosystem of support inside of Zendesk and keep your customer service integrations there. Otherwise, through the API, you may be able to hit different information. Same question about CRM systems. How would you securely manage and rotate API keys and secrets used by the AI bot in a distributed deployment environment? That is a great question. As of right now, everything is controlled in the admin center as far as the keys are concerned, and I know it's an area that Zendesk continues to evolve on their product. Can the request for a human agent be made instant, or how is the request made? Yes. So all of our bots that we recommend offering a option in the link tree that says talk to a human or contact a support rep, or putting it in the language. You can ask to contact a human at any time by typing the word human or just asking for a human. So it can be instantaneous for any one of those three. Pharmaceutical business and compliance monitoring. I refer you to my HIPAA conversation from just a minute ago. What if the user has multiple questions per session? Are they resetting every time? Does it depend on how the solution is grouped or categorized? So what we've done current form is we offer a start over. If you'd like to ask something else, write the word start over, and start over intent triggers a specific answer that emulates the start of your conversation. So you're not actually starting the conversation over, but it feels to the end user like you are. That way, when you do fail over, if you do fail over to a human, all of the context of everything that they had is all wrapped in that same conversation. Which way is more relevant for base articles or service catalog items? So it really just depends on what your knowledge is. If you have a lot of questions that can be answered with a flow tree, sometimes the bot flow is going to be better. If you have a lot of technical documentation, sometimes building out those articles is going to be the better way to go, and having the generative AI summarize that content is going to be really helpful. It's really, really good at taking complex things and explaining them in a way that is customer service friendly. That's one of my favorite use cases of Zendesk AI. Uh, how can AI be used together with robotics? I love that question. So currently there aren't any plans to deploy a Zendesk robot outside of this little guy here who is definitely not powered by AI. But I would say that we're going to continue to see the space evolve in customer service, and I could one day see a OpenAI powered robot that has the ability to create Zendesk tickets. It would be pretty cool. And then based on company hierarchy urgency, we can get into Jenica, we can get into a lot of that with more information that you collect from the end user. So when they're failing over to a human, you can ask them what department that they're looking for, and based on their selection in that dropdown, you can route that ticket. So not so much AI powered, but back to baseline, you could still get that information. So it doesn't give a response to all questions. If it doesn't know, it says it doesn't know. With Ultimate AI, it can be trained on other knowledge bases of text beyond the Zendesk knowledge base. So that's one thing to look at with the Ultimate acquisition of bringing in data from other data sources. Is there a specific plan that you offer clients to help the transition between already existing customer service workflow and Zendesk AI? Yes, Jack, absolutely. We have a free consultation. And I'd love to talk with you. Please find me in my email. Love to talk with you more about your use case there. So the incentive will be sent to everybody. If you registered with a Gmail, you are not unfortunately eligible for the $30 gift card. Will the Zendesk AI help attend to a customer when the physical workforce is offline? Yes, it is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Modalities put in place to ensure Zendesk AI does not fall into a state of hallucination. We talked about that a little while ago. Can the AI bot be customized to branding or specific language and style? Yes, persona and information about how the bot responds is definitely something that you can capture. And if anybody does have questions or questions that we didn't get to, my email has been on the screen for about 30 minutes now. Please feel free to drop me an email. I'm more than happy to talk with any of you about this. I love talking about AI stuff. Love to set up a time to talk with you more about your particular use cases. And I feel like that's a good place to stop. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your questions of just scanning some of this other information. But Zendesk AI agents are awesome, and they are tracked. The metrics are tracked. Definitely, you can use it for internal IT support and track ticketing. I've never seen Zendesk go down for more than a few minutes at a time. And right now, they're just using OpenAI. Unless you're building your own, you're restricted to using OpenAI for the LLM. So thank you guys so much. This was great. I would encourage you to check out our website, 729solutions.com. Drop me an email, find me on the socials. I'm more than happy to continue this conversation with you. And go forth and be educated, be excited about AI, and I would say continue to be willing and be open to experimenting with these new technologies as they become more readily available, because at the end of the day, if you aren't using AI, AI is not going to replace your job. It's going, but somebody using AI will replace your job. And so best to be on the better part of that conversation. But with that, I want to thank you for sticking around with me. We'll do this again. We'll set up a time to have another conversation. Great questions. Thank you for all of the engagement inside of the questions and answers. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get to your question.